what would really be considered smut novels or dark erotic fiction, it's trash literature. It's designed for a purpose, and we know what the purpose is. You do use it to get off, please. Do not I'm not that dumb. And it is still living in the fantasy world, and it is, it is something that you can become addicted to. When your needs are fulfilled in one way, that's not the ideal way, that's at a lower level, it suppresses the urgency of getting those needs filled so they never get filled in the more complete and better way.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you said. And especially going back to some of these women's arguments of like, that they don't want in real life what they're reading about.
Yeah.
So it's unattainable for the man, really. And like you mentioned in some of the other discussions we were having, that you can still look up new things to do in the bedroom without reading a novel, right? Because going back to what these women are saying too, like, I read it for the story. If you're wanting to spice up things in the bedroom with your husband, you can Google things. Yeah. And you can find things to do that are very similar to what you're reading about in the book.
Yeah.
But you want to justify that it's for the story. And there's plenty. Here's the thing, because all the women too were like, she doesn't read. I read plenty of books.
Yeah, you're on to 50
and
books this year.
I love stories as well too.
Yeah.
None of my stories have to have explicit sexual content in them for me to enjoy the story.
Right.
And I replied to some of them because they were like, oh, it's for the story. And they don't think it's the same, but it is the equivalent of hearing a man say, I watch porn for the story.
And there is a difference in different. Well, okay. So first of all, if we go down to the what would really be considered smut novels or dark erotic fiction, I apologize for offending some authors, but it's trash literature. It's not good literature. Okay, it's just not. People admit that openly. It's not. I understand it's still a work that you've created, but it is not. It is just like a porno movie is not. It is not. Mm-hmm. It is not that, because that's not the focus of the work.
It's hard to write a plot when you have to add so much sexual graphic imagery in, right?
Yeah, it's designed for a purpose, and we know what the purpose is. And that I'll address the women say, I don't use it to get off. No, I just watch porn because it's entertaining and I like to see pizza guys. Like, no. You do use it to get off, please. Do not I'm not that dumb. You can't snow me like that.
I want to say something really quick, because when these women came at me, I hadn't seen stuff. Unfortunately, without going too much into detail, you and I both got down a wormhole we didn't want to go on. And I saw some stuff that I'm sure is in that book. I had to read through a post that has permanently imprinted on my brain in a bad way.
Right.
And I know that it's similar to a lot of the erotica stuff. Yeah. And to be honest, there's no way to read that graphic of descriptions without, one, being turned on, or two, being disturbed by it.
Yeah. Well, until you get desensitized to it, to where you're not disturbed by it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is like I said, is like it's varying degrees. Sure, yeah, you have at the bottom level the completely Harlequin, some whatever the stuff that is the dark stuff that is not. Yes, I know there's a plot. I know that but that's not the draw of it. We know what it is. It is literally getting off material. That's what it's designed for. Okay. And then at the other end, you have like Nora Roberts, you have romance novels and whatnot. And yes, those do have more of a storyline and a thing like that. But as much as it pains me to like even attack those, I do have to, if I'm being intellectually honest, which I intend to do on this podcast. And I have to say that being obsessed with the story of other people's romance and fantasizing even about the romance, not even the sexual part of it, is also destructive.
Because it makes you dissatisfied with your own life, your real life, right? The things that you're actually living.
Right. And it is still living in the fantasy world. And it is something that you can become addicted to. Right. And I
mean, I don't even see the issue with like an occasional romance novel.
Yeah.
And things like that. Yeah. I think that it's all about to the intention and the addiction. And even some people in the comments were talking about how they use it to escape reality from men that don't treat them the way that they want to be treated. And I said, if you want to change your actual relationship, if you want to try to make the man that you're actually with in real life into the man in these books, read The Empowered Wife.
Yeah.
There's a book for you.
There you go. Yeah.
And I think they don't realize genuinely that by reading and fantasizing about a relationship that's better than yours or a man that's better than yours is a one-way road to resentment to the man that you have.
Yeah.
Like they don't understand that.
Right.
And I get that they think that they're like, oh, well, this makes me feel good. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does make you feel good imagining a man who actually knows how to treat a woman.
Right.
But you will never have that unless you do things that change your actual relationship. You'll have to constantly read romance novels.
Right.
You'll have to constantly escape your reality to feel those feelings, to have that dopamine. And that's what I was trying to, I guess, say in that short video is like, if you have this relationship, and even if you don't, you can create that relationship and you can get the dopamine, the feel-good feelings, whatever it is, the joy from your actual partner. And that should mean a lot to these women. Like, they should care more about connecting with their husband in a way where they wouldn't need to read any more books about anything or watch any more movies or TV or whatever, because they enjoy the life that they're living. Right,
exactly. Yeah, and the thing about that is you can create your own romance novel.
Right.
You can. It is possible. And yes, I do have empathy for the women that have men that don't get this, have them watch our podcast. But but also, like you said, read The Empowered Wife. I think that's a great suggestion. But have a conversation, talk about the needs. See, when your needs are fulfilled in one way, that's not the ideal way, that's at a lower level, it suppresses the urgency of getting those needs filled so they never get filled in the more complete and better way. And this happens with a lot of things in life. Like, we will accept when we have needs, they must be fulfilled. And sometimes we choose to fulfill them in lesser ways than higher ways. And so as long as you continue to fulfill something in a lesser way, you won't have the urgency to fulfill it in a higher way.
It's not permanent with a book.
And the thing is, yes, you can create your own romance, right? And you can also you can role play. Like, you can create your own erotic fiction in the sense that you want to be an alien from Mars or whatever, you can do that.
Right, talk to your partner about it.
You can wear outfits and dress. And I know that some people say, well, that's what I read the books and then I do that. It's like, but you can just do that. Like, you don't have to explore someone else's.
Well, you're not including your partner really. Like, he's not actively included.
In that,
You're including him because he's there, but he doesn't know that you're imagining him as a blue alien guy. If you tell him, granted, you know, these things have to be like actual desires. I again think blue alien is because you've gone down this wormhole for a while, right? But if you actually talk to your partner about what you want, like, let's say like the maid thing, that's like a generic one.
Okay.
If you tell him about that, you guys can do
together,
that.
It's
like, involve him. I highly doubt he's gonna be like, no.
Right. And the thing about it too is, I would say this too, is about the relationship part of it and the empathy for women that are in difficult situations where the man is not very caring, he's not romantic, and so they're trying to get that from somewhere else. I understand it.
Right.
However, what I would also say though is that, look, how many hours a week do you spend reading these things? Right? Is it 8 hours? Is it 10 hours? Is it more than that? Some is more than that, right? If you took all of those hours and instead you devoted those hours to your relationship, to in some way, maybe helping your man, you know, like taking care of him, doing stuff, romantic stuff for him, doing like investing in talking and learning and reading about your relationship and working on yourself, right? Would you not have a better outcome? You see what I'm saying? It's like you're wasting these hours in order to. And again, there's nothing wrong with entertainment. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to be working on yourself all the time. But I'm saying that a lot of women devote a large number of hours to a fantasy world that instead of their real life that they're escaping from it, if they took those same hours and they put it into making their real life like the fantasy life, they would have a lot more success. And that's
Yeah.